The sun was a faint gold sliver on the horizon, painting the Gulf of Mexico in shades of amber, when we cast off from the Florida Keys on Salty Valor, our 40-foot fishing boat, nets prepped, rods secured, the hull creaking with the rhythm of the sea. We're 5 old soldiers turned fishermen, Hawk, Bear, Ghost, Reaper, and me, Wolf, retired from wars most folks don't ask about, now hunting snapper instead of enemies under a sky streaked with early light. I'm Jack Bennett, 60, Army Ranger, faded jacket still fits, the fabric worn thin over the scars on my face from a 06 IED in Kandahar, sunglasses shielding my eyes from the salt spray. Hawk, our Navy SEAL, 62, stood at the helm in his old jacket, boots planted firm on the deck, his gaze cutting through the morning mist, while Bear, Delta Force, 64, hauled lines in a flannel shirt, his broad shoulders straining the fabric, muscles taut from years of combat and labor. Ghost, Green Beret, 61, checked the charts in his weathered army cap, sharp eyes scanning for currents, his fingers tracing the lines of 24.5 degrees north, 81.8 degrees west, 15 miles off Key West, where the fish ran thick. Reaper, Marine Recon, 63, cleaned a rod in a black tank top, his lean frame coiled like a spring, the quiet precision of a sniper still in his movements. We laughed about a 98 op in Kosovo, Hawk's bad intel leading us into a ditch, Bear's worst cooking nearly poisoning the squad, the boat rocking steady on choppy waves, gulls circling overhead, their cries cutting through the salty air like a call to battle. Salty Valor was our home on the water, a beat-up vessel with a red hull scarred by years at sea, a small cabin cluttered with maps and gear, and a hold that could carry $3,000 in snapper on a good day, the wood smelling of fish and oil. We'd been fishing these waters for 3 years, knew the spots by heart, the reefs where the snapper hid, the currents that shifted with the tide. The morning was calm, wind at 5 knots, sea glinting under the rising sun, the horizon a line of promise, when Ghost's voice cut through our banter, low and steady. "Boat on the horizon," he said, pointing west, his fingers steady as a rifle barrel. A speedboat, sleek black, moving too fast for fishing, a red Fong emblem on its flag fluttering in the breeze. Pirates. We'd heard of them hitting boats near Key West, stolen catches, gear, even boats for the black market, their names whispered in bars like a curse. They didn't know who we were. Hawk cut the engine to idle, the silence broken only by waves slapping the hull, as the speedboat closed in, 7 men aboard, armed, pistols glinting in the sun, machetes slung at their hips, a shotgun cradled in one's hands. Their leader, Vargo, scarred face weathered by sun and violence, red bandana tied tight, stood at the bow, machete in hand, shouting over the water. "Morning, boys, hand over the boat and catch, we'll let you swim back." Bear snorted, setting down a net, his voice a deep rumble that carried over the waves. "Not happening." They'd regret that choice, but the sea didn't care, its surface shimmering with the promise of a fight. The speedboat pulled alongside Salty Valor, its engine growling like a beast, grappling hooks biting into our rail with a metallic screech that echoed over the water, the pirates boarding fast, boots thudding on our deck with the confidence of predators. Vargo led, machete swinging loose in his hand, his scarred face twisted into a grin, his crew spreading out, 7 men, black vests with red fawn patches stitched unevenly, pistols tucked in belts, one with a shotgun, another twirling a chain like a whip, the links clinking with each step. They moved like they'd done this before, sloppy but practiced, their steps uneven on the rocking deck, thinking we were just old fishermen with nothing to fight for, our hands callous from rods instead of rifles. We weren't. Bear stood by the nets, flannel sleeves rolled up to his elbows, his 6 feet 4 inches frame making the deck feel smaller, hands steady despite the tension, his breath slow and deliberate. Ghost leaned on the cabin door, army cap pulled low over his eyes, scanning their positions, calculating angles like he did in '92 Somalia, his mind mapping escape routes and choke points. Reaper sat on a cooler, rod in hand, M9 pistol hidden beneath his tank top, his face blank, Marine Recon focus locking on to every movement, every twitch. Hawk stayed at the helm, jacket faded but steady, boots planted like anchors, his seal gaze fixed on Vargo, while I adjusted my sunglasses, Ranger jacket creaking with each breath, feeling the weight of my combat knife strapped to my calf, its handle cool against my skin. Vargo stepped forward, machete tapping the deck with a rhythmic thud, his scarred face twisting into a smirk. "Last chance," he said, voice rough as gravel. "Boat catch gear now." He pointed at our hold. $2,000 worth of snapper, silver scales glinting in the sun, our rods worth $500, our boat a $50,000 lifeline. "Swim or sink," he added, the threat hanging in the humid air. Hawk's voice was ice, cutting through the tension like a blade. "Not yours to take." The shotgun guy fired a round into the sky, the crack echoing over the waves, gulls scattering in a frenzy, their cries fading into the distance. The others laughed, one kicking a bucket, the clang sharp, another cutting a line with his machete, the nylon snapping with a twang that set my teeth on edge. They wanted fear, thought they'd get it easy, their eyes gleaming with greed. We'd seen worse. I'd crawled through Helmand in '05, sand in my mouth, blood on my hands. Bear had breached compounds in Fallujah, doors splintering under his weight. Ghost had evaded militias in Mogadishu, Shadows his only ally. Reaper had taken sniper shots in '03 Iraq, each bullet a prayer. Hawk had boarded ships in the Persian Gulf, waves crashing as he fought. This was child's play. I counted their steps, noted the shotgun guy's stance. Wide, unbalanced, left side exposed, a target waiting. Reaper caught my eye, nodded slightly, his hand inching toward his M9, the motion subtle as a breath. Ghost's fingers brushed the fishing gaff by the cabin, its hook gleaming. Bear cracked his knuckles, a low growl rumbling in his throat, his Delta Force strength coiled. Hawk stayed still, voice low, commanding. "You're making a mistake." Vargo smirked, raising his machete, the blade catching the sun. "Old man, you don't scare me." He signaled his crew to advance, their boots scraping the deck. The sun was higher now, sea glinting like glass, waves steady beneath us. They'd learn soon enough, the hard way. We didn't wait for them to strike first. Years of training taught us that hesitation kills, and we weren't about to die for their greed. Vargo's crew moved in, 3 heading for the hold to grab our snapper, their hands reaching for the crates, 2 toward the cabin to raid our gear, the shotgun guy and chain wielder staying back with Vargo, thinking they had control, their confidence a thin veneer. Hawk stepped forward, boots deliberate on the deck, the wood groaning under his weight, voice gruff as he stared at Vargo's machete. "Put it down," he said, the words a command, not a request, his seal authority ringing clear. Vargo laughed, a harsh bark, swinging the blade up in a wide arc, but Hawk was faster, seal fast, grabbing a gaff hook from the rail, its steel cold in his grip, hooking the machete's handle, yanking it free with a twist, the blade clattering to the deck with a dull clang that echoed over the waves. Vargo froze, stunned, his smirk gone, replaced by a flicker of doubt, as I moved on the chain guy, ranger instincts kicking in like a switch, sidestepping his wild swing, the chain whistling past my ear, grabbing his wrist, twisting hard until the metal dropped, his yelp cut short by my knee to his gut, sending him crumpling to the deck, gasping. Bear charged the shotgun guy, a Delta Force freight train, tackling him before he could aim, the gun skidding across the deck with a scrape, Bear pinning him with a forearm to the throat, growling. "Stay down," his weight crushing resistance. Ghost and Reaper handled the 3 at the hold. Ghost used a fishing net as a snare, throwing it over one's legs with a flick of his wrist, pulling tight, the pirate tripping hard, crashing into a crate, while Reaper drew his M9, not firing, just aiming at the second's chest, voice flat. "Move, you're done." The barrel steady as a rock. The third dropped his machete, hands up, eyes wide with panic. The 2 at the cabin turned, pistols drawn, barrels glinting, but we were already on them. Ghost threw a bait bucket at one's face, the stink of fish guts hitting like a punch, distracting him, while I tackled the other, pinning his arm, disarming him with a wrist lock, his pistol hitting the deck with a thud. In 90 seconds 5 were down, sprawled across the deck, 2 surrendered, hands trembling, Vargo scrambling for his machete, face pale, sweat beading on his scarred brow. Hawk kicked the blade overboard, the splash loud in the sudden quiet, then grabbed Vargo by the vest, slamming him against the rail, the metal groaning, his voice a growl. "Told you to leave!" The pirates were beaten, panting, their bravado shattered, our catch untouched, boat secure, the hold still ours. Reaper zip-tied their hands with fishing line, his movements precise, the knots tight, while Ghost called the Coast Guard on the radio, voice clipped. "ETA 20 minutes, 24.5 degrees north, 81.8 degrees west." The sea stayed calm, sun beating down, waves gentle against salty Valor's hull, the gulls returning, their cries a soft backdrop. We sat, waiting, the pirates silent, heads bowed, realizing their mistake. They thought we were easy marks, gray-haired relics of a forgotten war. We'd been fishing for peace, a quiet life after the chaos. They'd been fishing for trouble, and they'd hooked the wrong crew. The Coast Guard was delayed, a storm 30 miles out, its dark clouds looming on the horizon, slowed their approach, so we secured the pirates tighter using spare rope from the hold, its coarse fibers biting into their wrists, their speedboat tethered to salty Valor with a heavy line that creaked with the waves. Vargo sat against the rail, bruised, red bandana askew, glaring but silent, his crew avoiding our eyes, wrists bound, weapons piled in the cabin under Reaper's watch, the pile a testament to their folly, pistols, machetes, the shotgun. We took stock, our catch was safe, $2,000 in snapper, their silver scales glinting in the sun, but they'd cut 3 lines, $150 to replace, the nylon frayed, and dented a rail, maybe $200 to fix, the metal bent where Bear had slammed the shotgun guy, the dent a badge of our fight. Bear stood watch, flannel stained with sweat, his broad frame a deterrent, his breath steady, while Ghost checked the charts, ensuring we hadn't drifted far. 24.5 degrees north, 81.8 degrees west, still 15 miles off Key West, the coordinates etched in his memory. Reaper cleaned his M9, tank top soaked, the Marine Recon focus in his eyes never wavering, each wipe a ritual, while Hawks sat on a cooler, jacket open, Glock visible now, staring at Vargo like a hawk eyeing prey, his silence a weapon. I leaned on the rail, Ranger jacket creaking with each shift, sunglasses reflecting the sun, counting gulls. 12 overhead, their cries a distraction while we waited, their wings cutting the air. Vargo broke the silence, voice low, edged with fear. "Who are you guys?" Hawk didn't look at him, his voice flat, cutting like a blade. "Fishermen." Vargo scoffed, but there was no confidence in it, just a man realizing he miscalculated, his scarred face paling. They'd hit 4 boats this month, Coast Guard report said, stolen $80,000 in goods, left crews stranded, 1 beaten bad, ribs cracked, hospitalized for weeks, his screams a memory for the Keys. They thought we'd be the 5th, thought age meant weakness, gray hair a sign of frailty. We weren't weak. Ghost's radio crackled, Coast Guard, 10 minutes out, their cutter delayed by 6-foot swells from the storm, the waves rolling closer. I thought about 06, Kandahar, a night ambush, 5 of us then, 2 against 20, same teamwork, same result, no hesitation, the dust still in my lungs. These pirates were amateurs, driven by greed, no discipline, their speedboat loaded with fuel cans, a meth stash, $500 in cash, evidence for the guard, proof of their black market dealings, the scent of chemicals faint but sharp. The sun climbed higher, waves steady, the boat rocking gently, the air thick with salt and tension, the horizon darkening with the storm's edge. We didn't talk much, didn't need to. Decades of ops had taught us silence was as good as speech, our movements a language of their own. The pirates shifted, uncomfortable, their bravado gone, learning what we'd known for years. Underestimating your target is a death sentence. Or close enough. The Coast Guard cutter arrived at 11:40 a.m., a 45-foot vessel, white hull with an orange stripe cutting through the waves, crew of 6 in blue uniforms, armed with M4 carbines, moving with the precision of a well-drilled unit, their boots steady on the deck. They boarded Salty Valor, took one look at the tied-up pirates, and nodded at us, no questions. Professionals recognize professionals, even if our uniforms were faded jackets and fishing boots, the salt crusted into the fabric. We handed over the weapons, pistols cold to the touch, machetes dull from use, the shotgun's barrel scratched, along with the meth stash, its plastic wrap slick, and $500 in cash, crumpled and damp, Ghost giving coordinates and a clipped report, his green beret brevity showing. 7 hostiles, armed, attempted robbery, neutralized, 24.5 degrees north, 81.8 degrees west. The guard cuffed Vargo and his crew, the metal clicking loud, loaded them onto their cutter, untethered the speedboat for impound, its black hull bobbing in the waves, a relic of their defeat. Vargo glared as they pulled him away, muttering threats about coming back, his voice hoarse, but his crew stayed quiet, heads down, knowing they'd lost more than a fight. They'd lost their freedom, their operation exposed. The guard captain, a lieutenant in his 40s, shook Hawk's hand, his grip firm, callous from years at sea. "Heard of these guys?" he said, voice steady. "You did us a favor." Hawk shrugged, his jacket shifting on his shoulders, the fabric worn thin. "Just fishing," he said, the words a dismissal, his eyes on the horizon. They left, the cutter slicing through the waves, pirates in tow, gulls trailing them like scavengers, their cries fading into the wind, the storm's edge retreating. We checked the boat, nets intact, their fibers tight, rods secure, their handles smooth, engine purring after Bear's quick fix on a fuel line the pirates had loosened, a sloppy sabotage attempt, the oil smell lingering. Reaper stowed his M9, wiping it down with a rag, the metal gleaming, while Ghost marked our position on the chart, confirming we'd drifted half a mile, the pencil scratching the paper. I hauled the lines back out, snapper still biting, the sea indifferent to the morning's chaos, its surface a mirror of the sun. The sun was high now, waves glinting, the air heavy with salt and heat, the storm's threat gone. We'd lost an hour, maybe $300 in catch time, the fish slipping away in the delay, but salty valor was ours, the pirates gone, their speedboat a dot on the horizon. Bear cracked open a water bottle, the plastic crinkling, Ghost adjusted the radio, its static a hum, Reaper baited a hook, the shrimp wriggling, Hawk scanned the horizon, his gaze sharp, and I counted gulls, 9 now, circling tighter, their shadows long on the deck. We'd fish until dusk, same as always, the Gulf a silent witness to our wars, old and new, its waves a rhythm we understood. Back on the water 2 days later, the Gulf was quieter, no storm clouds, just endless blue stretching to the horizon, the sun glaring off the waves like a spotlight, its heat baking the deck. We set lines early, snapper running good, our hold already half full, $1,200 worth by 10 a.m., the fish biting steady on shrimp bait, their silver bodies flashing in the nets. Salty valor hummed along, the dented rails still there. Bear said he'd fix it next week, no rush, his flannel shirt already soaked from hauling nets, the fabric clinging to his back. Hawk steered, jacket off in the heat, boots still on, his seal focus as sharp as ever, his hands steady on the wheel, while Ghost tracked our drift, his chart pencil moving, Reaper baited hooks with quick, precise movements, the shrimp impaled with practiced ease, and I scanned the horizon, an old ranger habit that never died, my sunglasses scratched but clear, the salt crusting the lenses. The Coast Guard raid on the Black Fawn hideout made news, $150K in stolen goods recovered, 12 arrests, Vargo's crew done, their operation gutted, a meth lab on an abandoned rig shut down, its rusted frame a ghost in the reports. Local fishermen heard our story through the grapevine, started organizing. By week's end, 15 boats formed a patrol, radios linked, calling it Gulf Watch, a network to spot trouble early, their voices crackling over the airwaves. They invited us to lead, but Hawk declined, his voice flat as always, cutting off the suggestion. "We fish," he said, ending the conversation, his tone final. They respected that, didn't push, their boats nodding in the distance. A captain from Real Deal, a 50-foot trawler with a green hull, hailed us on the radio, voice crackling through static. "Heard you took down the Fangs, how?" Ghost answered, keeping it short, his green beret brevity intact. "Teamwork." That night, back at the Keys, the bar was buzzing, fishermen, locals, even a Coast Guard petty officer off duty, his uniform swapped for a t-shirt, all talking about the Black Fawn crew getting caught. Some knew their hits, $80K in theft, 2 boats sunk, their hulls lost to the deep, 1 man hospitalized with cracked ribs, out of work for months, his groans a memory. They bought us beers, the bottles cold and sweating, called us heroes, their voices loud over the jukebox, its country tune a backdrop. We didn't drink much, didn't talk much, Bear raised a bottle, said, to fishing. And we nodded, clinking glasses, the glass clinking a soft chime. The sea hadn't changed, its waves a constant, but the word was out, don't mess with salty valor. We'd earned that, same as we'd earned our scars in Fallujah, Kosovo, Kandahar, the memories etched in our bones. The bar lights were dim, the air thick with cigarette smoke, the Gulf waiting outside, its call pulling us back. We'd fish again tomorrow, the lines ready, the sea a challenge we'd meet. The story spread faster than we expected. By day 4, the Keys were alive with talk, fishermen swapping tales at the docks, their voices carrying over the creak of wood, kids pointing at salty valor as we pulled in, their small fingers tracing the air, their parents whispering about the soldier fishermen. Their breaths hushed. We caught $4,000 in snapper that trip, best haul in months. The fish running thick near a reef Ghost had marked 24.6 degrees north, 81.9 degrees west, the coordinates a lifeline, the water teeming with life. Real Deal's captain dropped off a new radio for us, $300 model, its black casing gleaming, said it was thanks for cleaning up the Gulf. Ghost installed it, tested the range, 20 miles clear, better than our old one, its static gone. Bear finally fixed the rail, welding it smooth, the dent gone, the metal hot under his hands, while Hawk bought new lines, $200 worth, stronger for bigger catches, their nylon taut. Reaper cleaned his M9 again, a ritual, his tank top stained with bait, the fabric damp, and I adjusted my sunglasses, Ranger jacket creaking, scanning the docks for trouble. None came, the air quiet. Gulf Watch grew to 18 boats, their patrols regular, radios active, captains sharing coordinates of suspicious vessels, a system we'd sparked without meaning to, their boats a constellation on the water. A local reporter, young 20s, showed up with a camera, its lens flashing, asking for an interview. Hawk waved her off, voice gruff. No story here. His hand a barrier. She left, but wrote a piece anyway. Veteran fishermen thwart pirate attack. It hit a blog, got 10,000 views, comments calling us legends, vigilantes, fools, their words a digital echo. We didn't read it, didn't care, the screen a distant concern. The bar was quieter now, no hero talk, just nods from other crews, a new respect in their eyes, some leaving extra bait, $20 worth, the buckets clattering softly. We launched at dawn the next day, salty valor cutting through the waves, the Gulf calm, sun rising slow, gulls circling, 15 now, their shadows long on the water, their cries a morning song. We didn't talk about the pirates, didn't need to, our teamwork spoke louder, same as it had in 03 Iraq, when Reaper took a 600-yard shot to save Ghost, the bullet singing, or 98 Kosovo, when Bear carried me 2 miles after a shrapnel hit, his breath labored. The fish bit steady, the hold filling, the day ours, the sea a witness. We'd earned that too, the quiet a reward. Gulf Watch solidified over the next week, 22 boats now, their patrols a fixture in the Gulf, radios crackling with updates, sightings of debris, weather shifts, no pirates, the airwaves alive. We kept fishing, salty valor a constant off the Keys, our hauls steady at $3,000 a trip, the snapper running good near the reefs, their scales a flash of silver. Hawk bought a chart plotter, $500, Ghost's idea for better navigation, its screen glowing in the cabin, a beacon in the dark, while Reaper upgraded our hooks, $100, sharper for grouper, his hands quick as a blade. I kept my Ranger jacket on, sunglasses scratched but good, scanning horizons, the glass a shield, while Bear tested the new radio, voice booming. Clear to 25 miles. The sound rolling. The Coast Guard sent a letter commending our civilian action, offering a liaison for Gulf Watch. We passed it to Real Deal's captain, let him handle it, paperwork a burden we shed. Locals stopped asking about the pirates, but the story lingered. Kids at the dock still called us the soldier fishermen. Their voices high, their parents nodding our way, some leaving fuel cans, $30 worth, the metal clanging. A new boat, Fawn Breaker, joined the fleet, named for the Black Fawn takedown. Its captain, a 50-year-old Cuban, shook our hands, said we'd inspired him to fish again, his boat stolen by pirates a year back, his eyes hard. We didn't say much, just kept working, launching at dawn, returning at dusk, the routine grounding us, the deck our battlefield. The bar became our evening spot, corner table, beers cold, talk low. Ghost shared a story from '92, Mogadishu, a trap he'd set with wire and a can, the clang a memory. Bear laughed about a botched Delta Op in '04, the explosion a ghost. Reaper stayed quiet, cleaning his knife, the steel glinting. Hawk watched the door, I watched the crowd, old habits, never gone, the shadows our allies. The Gulf felt safer, not because the pirates were gone, others would come, their flags new, but because the Keys fishermen weren't alone anymore, their radios a net of their own, the waves a bond. We'd done our part, same as we had in Fallujah, Kosovo, Kandahar, different fight, same principle, protect what's yours, help who's next. We'd fish tomorrow, lines ready, sea waiting, its call eternal. A storm hit 2 weeks later, 30-knot winds, waves 10 feet, the Gulf churning gray and angry, a beast we knew better than to challenge, its roar a challenge. We stayed in, salty valor tied tight at the dock, lines double-knotted, fenders out, the boat creaking but secure, the wood groaning. We helped secure the docks, same teamwork as always. Bear hauled ropes, his hands raw, Ghost checked knots, his fingers precise, Reaper tied down loose gear, the clatter soft, Hawk directed, his voice a guide. I scouted for weak spots, the ranger in me never off duty, the wind a test. The storm passed in 2 days, leaving the Keys wet, debris scattered, palm fronds and plastic, but no boats lost. Gulf Watch had warned everyone in, their radios saving more than just time, the airwaves a lifeline. We launched the next morning, the Gulf calm again, sun breaking through clouds, waves gentle, the air fresh with rain's aftermath, the scent clean. We caught $3,500 in snapper and grouper, the new hooks paying off, Reaper's idea, the hold full by 3 p.m., the fish heavy. A Coast Guard petty officer met us at the dock, off duty, buying us around at the bar, saying the Black Fawn bust had led to a bigger ring, 20 arrests now, $300,000 in goods recovered, a trafficking route shut down, the chains broken. He called us the Spark, his voice warm, we shrugged. Hawk said, "Just fishing." And we moved on, the words a mantra. Gulf Watch hit 25 boats, their patrols a routine, some captains training with the guard, learning basic maneuvers, a militia of fishermen, their boats a fleet. We stayed out of it, but they named a patrol route after us, Valor Line, 15 miles off Key West, a nod we didn't ask for, the name a weight. The bar was packed that night, fishermen trading stories, ours just one now, fading into the noise of new storms, new catches, the jukebox humming. We sat in the corner, Hawk sipping water, the glass sweating, Bear smoking, the smoke curling, Ghost reading charts, the paper rustling, Reaper cleaning his knife, the steel singing, me watching the door, same as always, the shadows our guard. The Gulf was ours again, not because we fought, but because we showed others how, the waves a teacher. We'd launch at dawn, fish waiting, sea steady, its pulse our own. The Gulf stayed calm that month, no pirate sightings, Gulf Watch patrols holding strong, 30 boats now, their radios a constant hum, weather updates, fish sightings, a lone speedboat spotted but gone before they closed in, the air alive. We kept fishing, salty valor a fixture off the Keys, our haul steady at $3,200 a trip, the snapper and grouper running good, the new chart plotter guiding us to better spots, 24.7 degrees north, 82.0 degrees west, a reef Ghost had scouted, its depths a secret. Bear painted the rail, red to match the hull, the weld hidden, the brush strokes careful, while Hawk bought a new cooler, $150, bigger for ice, keeping the catch fresh longer, the ice cracking. Reaper swapped his tank top for a long sleeve, sun protection, his M9 still close, the holster a shadow, and I cleaned my sunglasses, Ranger jacket faded but warm, the Gulf breeze cool at dawn, the fabric soft. A local school group visited the docks, 15 kids, their voices high, their teacher asking about the pirates. Ghost told them a sanitized version. We caught the bad guys. And they clapped, calling us heroes, their drawings of salty valor tacked up at the bar later, crayon boats, with stick figure soldiers, the colors bright. We didn't laugh, didn't mind, their parents bought us coffee, $10 worth, the cup steaming, a small thanks, the aroma rich. Gulf Watch named another route, Fawn Line, 20 miles out, a second nod we ignored, the name a echo. The Coast Guard sent a final report, Black Fawn fully dismantled, 25 arrests, $500,000 in goods recovered, a human trafficking angle uncovered, shut down hard, the files thick. They offered us a commendation ceremony, we declined. Hawk mailed the letter back, wrote, "No thanks." On it the ink bold. We launched at dawn the next day, the Gulf endless, sun rising slow, gulls circling, 8 now, their shadows long on the water, their cries a mourning hymn. The fish bit steady, the hold filling, the day ours, same as it had been in 03 Iraq, 98 Kosovo, 06 Kandahar, different wars, same team, the memories a chain. We'd earned this peace, fought for it, shared it, the sea a witness. The bar waited, beers cold, stories old, the wood worn. We'd fish tomorrow, always, the lines ready, the Gulf a promise.